Heartwarming encounter revealed. Janitor's daughter's incredible Mandarin touches Billionaire's heart. Mia stood perched on the edge of the towering glass building, the wind tousling her hair. Below, the bustling city pulsed with life. Every window she helped clean offered a glimpse into luxurious lives cut off from her own. She sighed, her breath misting in the cool air, but beneath that breath was a flicker of rebellion, a spark of determination fueled by the weight of her father's hard work. A janitor in those high rises, he often came home tired, but his grit inspired her. She refused to let their circumstances define her future. One afternoon, while sketching in the park, she stumbled across a poster that announced an art competition with Jonathan Hayes, a billionaire who had clawed his way from nothing. Mia's heart raced. This was her chance. Not just for the prize, but to show everyone that her dreams mattered. She could transform worries into art, using her grandmother's old Mandarin painting techniques, a style tied deeply to her heritage. What better way to honor her past while stepping into her future? But middle school was a minefield. Her classmates hurled insults disguised as jokes. What do you know about art? Your dad cleans up after rich people. Those sneers cut deeper than any blade. Every time she picked up her pencil, the laughter echoed in her mind like a haunting chorus, but Mia pressed on, channeling her heartbreak into breathtaking sketches. Slowly, her talent began to earn respect, and the whispers of approval felt sweet on her heavy heart. Then came the explosion. One night, after a particularly grueling day at school, Mia confronted her father about his job, the shared burden of their struggles spilling over with words they both regretted. "You don't understand what it's like. I just want something more," she shouted, her tears mixing with the anger coursing through her veins. His weary eyes mirrored her pain but also disappointment. "Those dreams don't pay the bills, Mia," he replied, the weight of their reality heavy on his shoulders. With those words, she felt an unbearable distance grow between them, like an impenetrable wall. Days turned into tension-filled silence as the community prepared for the upcoming art event, a celebration of resilience. The anticipation in the air buzzed like static electricity. Mia yearned to take part, but her heart was heavy, burdened by unspoken resentment and fear of losing her father's love. With each stroke of her brush, she painted a Mandarin tree symbolizing both her roots and her hope. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day of the event dawned bright and clear, the city buzzing with excitement. Mia, backstage, trembled. This was it. She could feel her father's eyes on her, but the fear of failure gnawed at her gut. Would she rise to the occasion, or let this chance slip through her fingers? Just then, Jonathan Hayes stepped into the spotlight, ready to announce the winners, and Mia's heart raced. This moment held more than just a competition, it was about bridging the gap between her dreams and her father's reality. Would it bring them together or push them further apart? The tension crackled in the air like a storm ready to break. Mia's heart felt like it was pummeling against her ribcage. She stood in a sea of faces, some filled with anticipation, others masked in indifference, but all turned towards the stage waiting for the announcement. Jonathan Hayes, impressive in his tailored suit, stood center stage, his charisma radiating around him. He looked the part of a savior, but Mia was painfully aware of the chasm between their worlds. As he spoke, his voice boomed like a summer thunderstorm. Art is meant to reflect the truth of who we are. It gives voice to the voiceless. Tonight, we will unveil the talent that embodies those truths. Each word seemed to wrap around Mia, squeezing her tightly, igniting a flame of hope and fear all at once. She wondered if she was even worthy of this stage, of his words. And then it hit her. What about her father's words? How could she stand here, so close to the dream, yet feel so far from it? She took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment to focus. The scent of oil paints and the flicker of memories of her grandmother weaving Mandarin trees echoed in her mind. It was time to share her truth. When Jonathan summoned the finalists, Mia felt her feet move almost instinctively towards the front. Each step felt weighty as if her past joined her. The audience erupted into applause as others were called forward. Her confidence wavered, but as she clutched her artwork, a mandarin tree alive with colors of hope, grounding roots, and branches reaching for the sun, she felt the energy of the crowd wash over her. One last artist to consider. Mia Chen. Jonathan announced, and the applause turned into a wave of surprise. She stepped forward, the spotlight blazing down on her, another layer of pressure building against her resolve. As she faced the audience, the laughter of her classmates echoed in her ears, but she refused to let it consume her. "This is not just a painting," she started, and her voice crackled with uncertainty but strengthened with each word. "It's a part of who I am. It's about family, struggle, and hope." In that moment, she locked eyes with her father, who stood at the edge of the crowd. His gaze held a mix of pride and worry, and for the first time, she felt a connection instead of distance. It fueled her. She poured herself into her words, talking about the mandarin tree, that it symbolizes resilience, much like her father, and it reminds her of what their family stands for. It grows strong roots, even when the winds are against it. She could see people in the audience leaning in, possibly feeling something that they connected with. Perhaps it was not just her story, but a shared human experience, reminding them of their own struggles and triumphs. When she finished, the applause was loud, echoing like a warmth wrapping around her. Jonathan stepped forward, a smile spreading across his face. "Mia, that was beautiful." But then came the buzzing uncertainty, as he opened the envelope for the results. The moment felt suspended, and she held her breath as if the world had stopped spinning around her. "Mia Chen has won the grand prize." His voice cut through the air, filling Mia with disbelief and joy. The crowd erupted, but in the midst of the noise, she only saw her father's wide-eyed pride. Everything felt possible, and yet a question loomed heavily in the air: would this moment change everything? In the aftermath of her victory, she could sense something shifting in the unspoken distance between her and her father. The applause faded, but echoes of uncertainty lingered as she turned to him, seeking answers in his face. What did this win mean for them, and was it enough to bridge the gap between their dreams? As Mia stepped down from the stage, a rush of adrenaline filling her veins, she felt that this was just the beginning. The true challenge lay ahead, and she had to confront the feelings beneath the surface. Would her father embrace her dreams as fiercely as he had protected their past? With her heart racing and uncharted territory ahead, Mia took his hand, inviting him to walk beside her into the unknown. Would their bond strengthen, or would they find themselves even more divided? As they stepped into the soft glow of the venue's exit lights, Mia still felt the adrenaline surging through her body. Every smile from an audience member, every clap that echoed in her mind, was like a warm blanket against the coldness of doubt that often lingered in her heart. But that warmth was mingled with uncertainty as she glanced at her father. "Dad," she said, her voice trembling slightly as they walked out together, away from the bright stage. "What do you think?" He paused, his brow furrowing, searching for the right words. "Mia, you were amazing up there. Your story, it touched me." He looked away, as if the admission were too heavy to bear. "But I'm worried." A lump formed in her throat. "Worried? About what?" He sighed deeply, his face shadowed by a mix of pride and concern. "You're stepping into a world I don't know how to navigate. The art scene, the people, I know nothing about it. What if I don't belong in that world?" Mia felt a hollow pit growing in her stomach. What if they just see me as the janitor's daughter? His eyes widened with alarm. "That's not who you are. You're so much more than that." "But I understand, it's not just about the painting. It's about expectations." The truth stung, and Mia nodded slowly. "Like the one you have for me to be safe, to fit in with what we know." "Exactly." His voice softened. "I've worked hard to build a life for us. I just want to protect what we've created. Can't we go back? Live the life we know? This isn't safe. Is this about me, or about your fears for yourself?" She felt the weight of his struggle but couldn't hold back her own frustration. I won. I did something I never thought possible, and this is my chance. Can't you see that? They stopped walking. Mia could see other artists milling about, celebrating their achievements. But right now, she felt as though she was standing on a precarious ledge, one misstep threatening to send her tumbling back into insecurity. Look, I need you to trust me, she pleaded, desperation filling her voice. I want you with me in this. It isn't just about winning, it's about defining my own path. Her father's face shifted, reflecting a battle of emotions. He wanted to protect the life they knew, yet he couldn't deny his love for her dreams. I don't want to lose you. Mia stepped closer, placing her hand over his. You won. I'm still me. But I need your support, not your fears. We can figure this out together. His expression softened, a flicker of resolve igniting in his eyes. Together, he repeated, almost as if tasting the word for the first time. If you believe you belong there, then I'll try too. A wave of relief washed over Mia. Thank you, Dad. But just as she thought they had reached a mutual understanding, a voice called out. Mia. Over here. It was Jonathan, beckoning her over with an infectious smile on his face. She felt an urge to step forward but hesitated, glancing back at her father. His worry was still etched on his face, and the distance hadn't fully closed. Go, he encouraged softly. We'll talk more later. Taking a deep breath, Mia nodded and approached Jonathan. He was bursting with excitement, ready to discuss her future in this art world she had only begun to breach. Yet, her heart was still tangled in the conversation with her father. As she chatted with Jonathan, visions of brighter days and past struggles danced in her mind. Yet, uncertainty loomed, leaving her with a breath caught between two worlds. What magic would unravel from this connection, and would she manage to reconcile her dreams with her father's hopes for her? Behind the glimmers of opportunity, shadows still lurked, waiting for their moment to intrude. With new possibilities ahead, Mia found herself at a crossroads. Would she leap into the unknown or tread cautiously, bound by parental expectations? The journey had only just begun. Mia blinked, her focus shifting back to Jonathan as he animatedly discussed potential gallery openings. His enthusiasm was contagious, and for a moment, the weight on her chest lightened. But her father's worried expression lingered in her thoughts, pulling her back into the reality of decisions yet to be made. Did you see the way they reacted to your piece? Jonathan's voice rose, each word punctuated with excitement. That was a game changer. You have to keep pushing, Mia. She tried to mirror his enthusiasm, returning a cautious smile. Thanks, Jonathan. I want to make sure I stay true to myself. His smile faltered slightly. You are true to yourself. That's why they loved your work. The authenticity, you can't fake that. Just don't let anyone dull your shine. Mia nodded, feeling a flicker of hope in his words. She could almost hear the echoes of applause in her mind again, the way they had made her feel alive. But beneath that spark was a gnawing fear, like an unwelcome companion perched on her shoulder whispering doubts that echoed her father's concerns. We should celebrate, Jonathan declared, grabbing her hand. You deserve this moment. Before she could respond, he pulled her toward a huddle of fellow artists, laughter spilling from the group like a warm breeze. Mia felt herself being swept into the scene, the energy wrapping around her like a cozy blanket. She caught snippets of conversations, plans for collaborative projects, upcoming exhibitions, and dreams they dared to share, yet, even as she engaged, her thoughts drifted back to her father. His worries hung in the air between them, a tether that felt both comforting and constricting. She could envision him pacing their small kitchen, the steam from the kettle mingling with his anxious frown. Would he ever accept this new path she was carving? Suddenly, for the first time that evening, Mia felt a wave of determination wash over her. She wanted to paint her own future, and while her father's love was a source of strength, she was standing on the precipice of a dream that was purely her own, a dream she needed to chase, no matter the risks. As the laughter continued to surround her, Mia caught sight of a large canvas propped up in the corner. Intrigue pulled her closer. Painted in bold strokes was a vibrant landscape, filled with swirling colors and emotions that seemed to leap off the canvas. It captivated her, drawing her into its depths. "Who's the artist?" she inquired, pointing at the piece. "Oh, that's Taylor," Jonathan replied, his eyes lighting up. "They're incredible. You should chat with them. I have a feeling you two would hit it off." Mia hesitated. She felt a tug of excitement but mixed with fear. What if Taylor was just another artist from a privileged background, someone who looked at her and saw only the janitor's daughter? Jonathan must have sensed her hesitation. "Hey, don't overthink it. You've just stepped into this world, so embrace it. You can't be anything but your best self." His encouragement sparked something inside her. Gathering her courage, she took a step forward, drawn by the mysterious allure of the painting. Each step away from the familiar felt like shedding a layer of doubt or release from the shadows of her past expectations, but as she approached, excitement wove itself with apprehension. What would this new connection reveal? Would this be another step toward her dream or a plunge into a new uncertainty? Just as she was about to reach the canvas, Jonathan's voice cut through her thoughts like a bell. "Mia. Wait. There's something you need to see." Surprised, she turned back, eyes wide with curiosity. "What is it?" she asked, bracing for the unexpected. He grinned, and the glint in his eyes promised a thrill. "You're not going to believe who just walked in." With her heart racing, Mia felt the moment hang in the air, thick with potential. Who was it, and how would they change everything? Was she ready to confront whatever awaited her? The possibilities felt endless, and she was determined to seize them as the night unfolded. Mia's heart raced as Jonathan gestured toward the entrance, where the atmosphere shifted like a sudden gust of wind. Shadows danced across the room, and then a tall figure stepped in, a presence that turned heads. Mia squinted, trying to make out the details. And then she recognized him. "Is that," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the chatter. "Yep, that's Mark Havens," Jonathan confirmed, his enthusiasm barely contained. "The art collector. He's bought pieces from the most prominent names." "Big deal, Mia." Every instinct told her to turn away, to slip back into the safety of the conversation she'd just been a part of. But something about the energy in the room drew her closer. Was it the thrill of the unknown or the magnetic aura that seemed to radiate from Mark? She took a step forward, compelled by a mix of curiosity and trepidation. Jonathan nudged her playfully. "Go on. This could be your chance. Remember, just be yourself." Mia swallowed hard, trying to push the knot of anxiety down her throat. She remembered Jonathan's words, how they rode the waves of hope, but the doubts began swirling again. What on earth would he see in her work? A janitor's daughter who had just found her footing in this brand new world. She steadied herself and walked toward the center of the room. The laughter and voices faded away as she focused on Mark. He moved gracefully among the crowd, charming them with his easy smile and effortless charisma. He stopped to admire various paintings, nodding appreciatively, before his gaze landed on the piece she'd been drawn to earlier. Taylor was right beside him, chatting animatedly, their confidence shining like a beacon. Mia hesitated, standing at the fringe of the conversation, unsure whether to step in or retreat back to the safety of the laughter behind her, but as Mark's rich laughter filled the air, it sparked something within her. A thought: what if she had the courage to join them? This was her moment to shine, wasn't it? "Hey, Mia," Jonathan called, noticing her lingering hesitation. "If you want to talk to him, just go for it. You know what you're capable of, right?" Taking a deep breath, Mia walked toward them, her heart pounding like a drum echoing in her ears. With each step, she pushed down the experimental fears, determined to let her passion guide her. "Hi, I'm Mia," she said, the words spilling out before she could second-guess herself. Mark turned to her, a curious glint in his eye. "Nice to meet you, Mia. Jonathan was just telling me about your work. He was very impressed." Her breath caught. "Really?" she managed to ask, astonished by the thought of anyone mentioning her art to someone like Mark Havens. "Yes, he said your piece was exceptional," Mark said, piercing her with a steady gaze that felt genuine. What inspires your art? She felt the energy shift, gaining confidence as she shared snippets of her story, her passion spilling out with every word. As they spoke, Taylor observed, nodding in approval while an intrigued audience began to circle. Drawn by the unexpected engagement, Mia could feel the relentless pull of hope. Perhaps she could carve a place for herself in this world, right here and now. Mark's presence felt reassuring yet surreal, pulling her into a larger dream she just began to glimpse, and yet, beneath the surface of this encounter, a creeping thought gnawed at her. What if this moment could change everything? What if she was stepping away from all she knew and into a life that could lead her down roads she had never imagined? As their conversation deepened, Taylor interrupted. Mia, have you shown Mark your piece yet? He'd love it, I'm sure. The question hung in the air, heavy with implications. Would she take that leap? Would she unveil her vulnerability and passion in front of someone who could redefine her future? Just as she gathered her thoughts, ready to seize the moment, a loud crash echoed from the back of the gallery, startling everyone. All heads turned, and Mia's pulse quickened at the sight of what was happening. Chaos had just entered the room, and with it, myriad new possibilities began to unfold. Could this be the moment of truth she was waiting for? Would courage and opportunity finally collide? The clamor from the back of the gallery was almost surreal, as if the art world itself had momentarily lost its composure. Mia's heart sank, fear gripping her. She half expected to see a fallen statue or perhaps someone had spilled wine on a priceless work. But as the crowd began to murmur, the truth of the chaos became clear. A man had stumbled into the scene, arms flailing, a large canvas crumpled under his chin. Help! I need help! He shouted, his voice a raw mixture of panic and desperation. Immediately, Mark turned his attention away from Mia, his focus now on the man. What's wrong? Mia stood frozen, caught between the chaos and a feeling deep within her. The man dropped the canvas, revealing it had been artfully draped, albeit awkwardly, around his body. Only then did Mia realize it wasn't a painting, it was a protective cover for the recent work that had cost her nights of labor. Someone's trying to take this from me. The man gasped, and the crowd buzzed with anxiety. Who? Mark pressed, stepping forward with an intensity that silenced the room. The swagger and charisma he had earlier were now replaced with a determined steely resolve. They said it's worthless. The man pointed a trembling finger toward a couple gathered in the shadows, their smug expressions lit by the light of the gallery. They wanted to dump it. Mia's heart pounded. Those weren't just random guests, they were influential figures known for their cutthroat dealings in the art sector. They typically clashed with novices like her. Taking a deep breath, she felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Could she step up to defend her work? Wait! She shouted, the word bursting from her lips. Everyone turned to her, their expressions a mix of disbelief and surprise. The moment hung in the air like a tense note, vibrating with possibilities. Why would you call it worthless? She challenged the couple. This piece has a story, a meaning. It represents something precious. Mark turned back to her, curiosity piqued, as the crowd shifted, caught in her unexpected boldness. Encouraged by his gaze, Mia pressed on. Art isn't just paint on canvas. It's emotion, reality, and illusion woven together. With every breath she took, the confidence in her voice grew. This is my life's work, and I'm not ashamed to defend it. The crowd stirred. It felt electric. Hadn't she played it safe for too long? Here, in her moment of urgency, she realized she could not back down. Mark's presence fanned the fire within her. This was her chance to show who she was, not only as an artist but as a person reaching for her dreams. But just as the atmosphere buzzed with newfound determination, one of the couple smirked. Oh please, it's just another amateur piece. Why should we care? Mia felt the sting in those words. Because, she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart, art is about connection. You may not see the value, but I know hundreds who would. Dismissing my work without understanding its roots only illustrates how distant you are from what art truly means. An applause-like murmur rippled through the gathering crowd. Eyes began to shift back to Mark, eager for his reaction. Would he acknowledge her defense? Would he step in to help her navigate this unexpected chaos? Just as Mark opened his mouth, a sudden baritone voice cut through. You think this is about you? Everyone turned to see an imposing figure emerging from the shadows, someone Mia had never expected to see here. She felt a wave of uncertainty wash over her. Who was this mysterious figure, and what did they want? Mia sensed the tipping point approaching, courage flaring and doubts creeping in. Could she hold her ground amid the storm that was brewing? Would this night still be hers to shape, or had fate brought her to face something bigger than herself? The figure stepped into the light, the crowd parting slightly as if sensing the authority that radiated from him. Mia's breath caught. It was Leonard Kingsley, the notoriously hard-nosed art mogul known for making and breaking careers with a single decision. His piercing gaze swept the room, landing on Mia with an unsettling intensity. Do you honestly believe your work has merit? He challenged, his voice smooth but edged with something cold. Mia felt her pulse quicken. Yes, she countered, heightening her chin. It has meaning. It's not just about selling, it's about the journey. A smirk twisted Leonard's lips, and he exchanged glances with the couple who had belittled her piece. The journey, huh? Interesting, but in the end, art exists to be valued, to stand in galleries, not in the dreams of amateurs. Behind her, she heard the man who had defended her earlier shift uncomfortably. Anxiety spread through the gallery like wildfire. Mia's heart raced. Why had Leonard come to this event? Had he been spying on her art all this time, waiting for the right moment to strike? Look, Mark began, stepping slightly in front of Mia, this isn't about commercial value. Mia has crafted something real, something worth discussing. You can't just trample on creativity with your business mindset. Leonard raised an eyebrow, amused. And what do you know about business, Mr. Fiancé of the artist? You're just another photo op. Mia felt the sting of that jibe, but she couldn't let it deter her. She wanted to take a step forward, to reclaim her moment. You don't need to know someone to appreciate their work, Mr. Kingsley. Art doesn't just belong to those who can afford it. It belongs to everyone. What an idealistic view, he scoffed. In the real world, only dollar signs matter. The gallery seemed to hold its breath. She could feel the audience's anticipation, and despite the suffocating pressure, her voice rang louder. But it can't be just about money. My piece is about finding light in darkness, about hope after despair. Ah, hope. Had come the sharp interruption from one of the couple. No one buys hope. Mia's frustration flared, but deep down, she knew hope was worth more than the brushstrokes of paint. Noticing Mark bracing himself, she took a breath, searching for clarity. If nobody buys it, maybe it's because they don't understand it, she said, striving for steadiness. But art connects people. It has the power to change minds. Maybe that's what you fear. Laughter erupted from Leonard's corner, an affront to her earnestness. Fear? Oh, darling, I thrive in these environments. In that moment, Mia felt not just anger, but an unexpected resolve. She wasn't just standing for herself, she was standing for every artist who had been dismissed, every dreamer sidelined. With every heartbeat, she was reminded of her purpose. And yet, you only see what you choose, Leonard, she said, leaning forward slightly, her heart pounding fiercely against her ribcage. What if you opened your mind? What if you saw the value in creativity before its price? The silence was heavy and palpable. Leonard's expression shifted, just slightly, like he'd been grazed by a new idea. The gallery seemed to buzz with an energy she had never felt. She had taken a stance, and people were listening. But just when it seemed that Leonard might reconsider, the lights dimmed. Mia squinted against the darker space, trying to catch sight of what was happening. A hush swept through the gallery as an unexpected figure appeared at the entrance, someone Mia knew distinctly, someone from her past who could either shatter or solidify her newfound strength. What could this new arrival mean for her and her art? Would they turn the tide for her, or was this just another storm headed her way? Mia's eyes widened as the figure emerged from the shadows, bathed in soft light. It was Sarah, her childhood best friend. The girl who had once sat beside her in art classes, sketching dreams and sharing laughter. Confusion washed over Mia. What was Sarah doing here? As Sarah stepped closer, every person in the gallery seemed to instinctively lean in, curiosity hanging thick in the air. Mia cast a frantic glance at Leonard, whose interest piqued. Would he see her friend's arrival as another opportunity to dismiss Mia? Sarah. Mia called out, the name escaping her lips like a prayer. The connection felt palpable, a thread of shared history binding them. Sarah had always been the supportive voice in Mia's life, the one who reminded her of her talent when times got tough. And right now, she needed that familiar warmth. Mia moved through the clusters of art enthusiasts, her heart racing. When they were finally within arm's reach, Sarah's face lit up. Mia. I heard about the show. I had to be here. The moment felt surreal. Sarah had a knack for making every mundane moment sparkle, and today was no different. I love your piece. It's breathtaking, she said, her voice laced with genuine admiration. The spark in her green eyes brought a smile to Mia's lips. Thank you. But it feels a bit like an uphill battle right now, Mia confessed, glancing back at Leonard. She sensed the weight of his scrutiny, a hawk poised and ready. Without breaking eye contact, Sarah straightened. What's happening here? She asked, her tone questioning but fierce. Mia recounted the events, speaking rapidly, her words tumbling over one another. As she spoke, Sarah's expression turned to one of understanding and solidarity. You're amazing, standing up for what you believe in, she affirmed. This is what art is all about. You are connecting with people. They just don't see it yet. A flicker of renewed confidence ignited in Mia's chest. With Sarah beside her, she felt less alone against the tide of criticism. But then Leonard interrupted her thoughts. Ah, the loyal friend has arrived, he sneered, his voice dripping with condescension. Are you here to provide a safe harbor for the shipwrecked artist? Actually, I'm here to lift her up, Sarah shot back, her defiance sparking a quick murmur among the audience. She stepped forward, unyielding. Art is subjective, Mr. Kingsley. It doesn't demand approval from someone like you to hold its value. The crowd shifted, intrigue growing. Mia felt a swell of gratitude towards Sarah, a newfound strength coursing through her. Perhaps this wasn't just about her own battle, it was a collective fight for all artists dismissed in favor of profit. Still, she was aware of the intensity of Leonard's gaze, the way he seemed to absorb their words. Mia took a deep breath and met Sarah's proud eyes. Let us show them what art truly is, Mia said, her voice trembling with purpose. And then she turned to face Leonard, defiantly locking her gaze with his. It's time to set the record straight. As the crowd hung on their every word, something shifted in the atmosphere. The dim lights created an almost electric vibe that promised change, a transformation unfolding within the gallery walls. Mia felt lighter. If they were to battle together, she would hold nothing back. But just as she gathered her courage to speak again, something shifted behind Leonard. A woman with an air of authority stepped forward, her presence commanding. Mr. Kingsley, she began, voice silky yet firm. The curiosity in the gallery grew thick again. I think it's time for a reality check. What was this woman about to reveal? And how would it change the course of this night? The audience seemed to hold their breath, all eyes darting to the woman who commanded attention with a mere few words. She had the kind of presence that demanded respect, her dark hair framing a serious face, and a tailored suit that screamed authority. Mia felt her stomach twist. Who was she, and what did she mean by reality check? Leonard straightened, his smirk fading. And you are? He asked, his arrogance faltering just a bit. The woman didn't flinch. I'm Ellen Marshall, the new curator for the gallery. It's highest time we reconsider the direction of our exhibits and the values we prioritize. Her gaze swept the room. You could feel the tension shift, like the air after a summer storm when everything is suddenly still. Mia's heart raced. She had heard of Ellen Marshall, the woman known for championing emerging artists, making waves in the art community. Could she really be there to support Mia? As if sensing her hopes, Ellen continued, I've seen too many talented artists slip into shadows, their voices lost under the weight of sales and trends. It's time we break that cycle. Leonard's face twisted in disbelief. What do you mean? The public should dictate what's displayed. That's how the market works. Ellen's voice was cool but unwavering. Art should reflect truth, not just commerce. If we don't embrace diverse voices, especially those of passionate, genuine artists, we lose a part of humanity. Mia felt with each word, a swell of energy build inside her. Ellen's presence was like a lighthouse cutting through the oppressive fog that Leonard seemed to weave around the gallery. Sarah was nodding vigorously, her enthusiasm clear. Leonard, Ellen said, her tone sharper, I'm not here to fight you. But I will not support an environment where creativity is stifled. Mia, your piece is not just art, it invites people in. It challenges them. Isn't that what we should celebrate? Yes. Mia erupted, her voice rising above the gallery's whispering crowd. Art can heal, it can connect us in ways that go beyond words or price tags. It's about sharing deeper truths. As the words spilled out, Mia felt the hazy weight lift. The echo of her uncertainty was replaced with clarity, with purpose. Sarah's proud smile fueled her. The crowd watched, eyes widening, as they seemed to sense something monumental shifting in that moment. Leonard, clearly rattled, attempted to regain control. That's all well and good, but this is a business. We don't do charity art here, he challenged, crossing his arms. Art isn't charity, it's life. Sarah exclaimed, stepping closer to Mia. The energy crackled as more voices joined, whispers of agreement cascading through the gallery. This was more than just Mia's fight now. It felt as if all the artists overlooked, all the ideas dismissed, were rising together, united in a cause greater than herself. But before Mia could respond further, an unexpected voice rang out from the back of the gallery. A young woman, perhaps no older than 20, nervously stepped out of the crowd. I believe in what Mia's saying. She stammered, but there was a fire in her eyes. My art was rejected by the gallery last year because it wasn't commercial enough. I thought I was alone. But if Mia can stand up for this, so can I. Mia's heart swelled. They were building momentum, a wave of voices echoing her fight, but then, an unexpected turn came. Leonard's face darkened further, and Mia could see the storm brewing in his eyes. Perhaps you should all consider the repercussions of speaking out, he warned, a hint of menace lacing his tone. What did Leonard mean? And would they truly be able to forge a new path, despite the threats looming ahead? The tension hung heavy in the air, thick with the combined fear and courage of the artists around Mia. Each heartbeat resonated in her ears, each breath felt like it could be snatched away if the moment lingered too long, but Ellen was unyielding, her voice calm. Repercussions or not, it's time for a recalibration in this industry. I suggest we start by celebrating Mia's art instead of dismissing it. This is what our gallery needs: a new perspective. A chance for authenticity. Mia's heart soared. Her gaze darted around the room. Individuals who had once stood silent found their voices, murmurs of support rippling through the crowd. Murmurs of solidarity. I'm with you, shouted another artist. Art should be our freedom, echoed another, but Leonard wasn't finished. This is fool's gold, he spat, casting a glance at the crowd. You think you can reshape the art world with naive ideals? You'll all learn how cruel the market can be if you continue down this path. His voice contained an edge, a warning laced with venom. Then maybe it's time for the market to change. Mia exclaimed, fiery determination surging within her. Art isn't about profit margins or trends. It's about connection. Emotion. Each piece represents a voice that must be heard. As the crowd erupted in enthusiastic agreement, Mia felt the tide shifting. It was like a dam bursting, washing away doubt, fear, and insecurity. They were no longer just onlookers, they were part of a movement. A community. Leonard's arrogance faltered. You think this is going to happen? You think that change is something artists can demand? He appeared unnerved, eyeing the once skeptical audience now rallying around Mia. Ellen stepped forward, her resolve solid. Yes. And it starts right here, right now. Mia should have the opportunity she deserves. This gallery will be the first of many, led not just by revenue numbers but by the very heart of art itself. Mia locked eyes with her father, who had taken a step into the gallery, guided by a whirlwind of emotion. She saw pride and apprehension mixed in the lines of his face. Was this the moment where he would fully embrace her dreams? With a leap of faith swirling in her chest, Mia turned back to the crowd. I'm just a girl from a humble background, but we all have stories worth telling. Each struggle, every joy painted into our art deserves its place. I won't back down. Let us make a stand, together. The crowd's roar echoed through the gallery, shaking the very foundation of preconceived notions. It wrapped around her like a protective shield, boosting her courage and pushing back against Leonard's piercing gaze. Enough. He shouted, a last-ditch effort at control, but the power of unity overwhelmed him. Beneath the electric atmosphere, Mia took a step forward, still trembling but no longer afraid. Mr. Kingsley, art will always evolve, just like humanity. You can push against us, but you cannot extinguish the brilliance that thrives beneath the surface. As she finished, the audience erupted as one. Cheers rang out, applause drowning out Leonard's shouts, shoving his frustration aside. The gallery felt alive, vibrant with potential shadows receding as light poured in with every word shared. Mia felt a warmth building in her chest, a feeling of belonging, of community. This was her moment. And from the fringes, her father stepped forward, pride sparkling in his worried eyes. You are more than just my daughter, he said softly, the rush of emotion bursting forth. You're a force. With tears glimmering in her eyes and a radiant smile on her lips, Mia wrapped her arms around him, feeling all the love and pride they had fought to share over the years. Together, Dad. We can do this together, she promised, her voice thick with emotion. Ellen stepped beside them, not missing a beat. What do you say, Mia? Let us plan an exhibition that showcases stories, emotions, and the artistry of difference. Yes. Let us create a space where every unique voice can shine, Mia cheered, feeling the wind beneath her wings. Let us honor the fight, the bridges we can build. As the gallery buzzed with excitement, a chorus of plans and dreams began to weave together. This was only the start of a journey not just for her, but for everyone present. And in that room full of artists, supporters, and newfound allies, Mia Chen stood at the forefront, ready to embrace the change brewing within her community. Let us tell the stories the world needs to hear, she declared with conviction, with heartbeats synchronizing and hopes intertwining. The journey they'd begun was about so much more than the singular act of creation. It was a movement for change, a celebration of resilience, and a testament that art, much like life, was meant to be truly lived. As they converged together, forging a path lit by dreams and anchored by love, Mia felt certainty rise within her, a firm belief that she and her father could fully embrace both their realities and aspirations. This story didn't end tonight, it was only the beginning. A crescendo in a long, beautiful song. Now, folks, here's where you come in. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss out on amazing stories that inspire and transform. Leave a like right now. It really makes a difference in reaching others who need to connect with these powerful journeys. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who could use a little spark of inspiration in their lives. Don't wait not even one more second to spread this message. We can uplift each other like never before. Your actions mean the world to us. Let's keep this movement alive together.